Dear children, today I am going to teach you a new story, Lost Spring. Imagine that you are all sitting in the classroom of your school and there is a blackboard there, and the first question that I would ask you shall be, what comes in your mind when we talk about spring? Think about it right now. Note it down in your notebooks. Spring season brings a lot of happiness, fragrance, colors, cheers, laughter, freshness, newness, new dreams, new aspirations. And childhood is the time when it can be compared with the spring, because childhood is carefree, childhood is innocent, one is daring in it, one has got freedom, there is a lot of energy and passion, purity, and so many other things. Lost Spring is an extract from Annie's Jung's book Lost Spring, Stories of Stolen Childhood. Annie's expresses her concern about the exploitation of children in hazardous jobs like bangle making and rag picking. She argues that the poverty stricken parents and the thoughtless traditions result in the loss of innocence and much needed freedom and education during childhood. The result is back-breaking work, dismal living conditions, submission to exploitation, and acceptance of poverty as destiny. There is a dire need to provide these poverty-stricken people, particularly children, a life of dignity and opportunities to be able to dare, to be able to dream, to be able to act freely. There is a little boy, his name is Sahib. I encounter him, meet him every morning, scrounging, searching for anything valuable that can be found in the garbage dumps near my neighborhood. Sahib is a rag picker. His home was in Bangladesh, Dhaka, but the little child had been brought long back and he does not remember anything at all about his home, about his nation, about his own land, or about the green fields which were there. When there is a lot of poverty and the people are not able to live their life in the natural course, they migrate. Sometimes they even migrate from their country, as was the case with Sahib and his family. The little boy does not even remember his own village, his own country, Bangladesh, Dhaka, where he must have taken birth, and they migrated and they came over here so that they could have at least two square meals in a day. His own home supposedly had lush green fields, but because the parents were not literate enough, the parents were not having enough opportunities. That is why they could not sustain themselves there, and so they somehow managed and they started living here in Simapuri, which is on the outskirts of our capital, Delhi. They are struggling, and with them, The younger children in the family are also struggling. We talk about education, we talk about privileges, we talk about amenities and facilities. There are children in this world, very much there in our surrounding also. On every red light, you can see there are half naked, half clad children really begging for the little things so that they are able to survive. And everything is taking place even after 75 years of our independence. Anis Jung meets Sahib every day and she asks him why he keeps searching something or the other in the garbage. The little boy, Sahib, replies that he has nothing else to do. Anis Junk makes a suggestion for going to school. He says there is no school in my neighborhood. Without realizing the false claim that she was making, Anis Junk says if she would make a school, would he like to get himself educated there? The little boy becomes hopeful, though his hope is never going to get fulfilled. Annie's junk does not realize that she is trying to create a hope which is absolutely false. It is humanly not possible to make schools so easily. The schools which are already there, those schools should be used by the children, but the elders have got a lot of problems. They are so badly poverty stricken that they need more hands to support them rather than sending their younger children to the school. They want them to support in earning the livelihood. There is ignorance also, but more than that, the poverty is the culprit for not letting the young ones get themselves educated. Sahib literally thinks that the writer is going to build a school, so he runs one day to Annie's junk and asks if the school was ready. Annie's junk realizes how she had given a promise which was hollow, how the world which is already full of false promises, no hopes. She has added a state of hopelessness in the life of Sahib, the little rag picker who literally believed Annie's Jung's words that they were going to build a school for him and the children like him. Dear children, sitting in our cozy homes, having most of the facilities and amenities, not knowing what poverty stricken conditions are, we do not realize the worth of the things that are there for us and how our parents are all the time struggling to provide us with the best possible things in the world. Children like Sahib do not have anything else in life except the false hopes and those dreams which never ever get fulfilled. After many months of knowing him, one day Annie's junk asks the little boy his name, and she is so surprised. The boy says, my name is Sahibe Alam. Sahibe Alam means Lord of the Universe. The name represents that he is the Lord, but he really is just a rag picker. Poor boy. Good that he does not know the meaning of his own name. because if he would know it, he would be so surprised. It is ironical. Irony is when we are expecting something else and what is there is just the opposite of it. The name means Lord of the Universe, but the reality is just the opposite. Sahib and his other friends, not wearing any shoes or chappals, they come over in the morning, just like the birds, and disappear till noon because the garbage is thrown out of the houses early in the morning. They pick up the garbage, they search for any valuables, and then they go away. As they keep coming regularly, I have started recognizing each of them. These rag pickers are so poor, so badly poverty stricken, that they do not even afford to buy a pair of shoes. When I asked one of them why he was not wearing the shoes, he said, making an excuse that his mother had not brought them down from the shelf. The truth is that he never had any shoes, and that is why he was not wearing them. Without shoes, barefooted, roaming on the street is not only the case of Sahib, one rag picker whom I had asked about going to school. His other friends are also suffering in the same manner. These are the children who have never ever owned a pair of shoes, who pick up the thrown away shoes of some rich boy somewhere, wear them, even if both the shoes are different, it does not matter. Those who have walked barefoot on the harsh and hard roads, they know the value of shoes even if they do not match